So today we're looking at the Frederick Douglass primary source. Before you hit play on this video, you should have already done the following. You should have watched the YouTube video about who Frederick Douglass was and why he's so important for us to know as students of history. You should have also reviewed how to read a primary source by examining the steps to working with worksheet and the additional tips sheet. I'll read over those one more time just to make sure we've got them. So as you work with any primary source document, ask yourself the following questions and it will be super easy. Remember, a primary source is a document written by someone who witnessed or took part in an event. First things first, you need to identify the nature of the material. What type of document are you looking at? Is the document a first-hand account or based on information provided by others? This is something you're going to determine based on what you read. Step 2 is to evaluate the author. What was the author's connection to the event that he or she is talking about? So once you've looked at that, what I'd like you to do is determine why it's important that we know the author as well. Our next step is to determine the audience. Was the source meant for the public? Or are we reading something like a diary? That's very important to consider here. So make sure you're giving those regard. The next one is to determine the purpose. Look for evidence of emotion, exaggeration, bias, anything that can show you a little more about what they're talking about. Step 5 is to look up words that you do not know. Remember, these should always take a long time. They should not take 5 minutes. I will get very sad and upset if you take 5 minutes or less to complete this assignment. What you're going to be doing is looking at the words and seeing what needs to be done. Because what I've done is I've provided the definition of some of the words to help you. But if you don't know words that I did not address, you need to look at it. And also to take it slow. Please read the passage several times before you finally hit on your answer. You need to take your time with this. I can't stress this enough, guys. It's so important. So please, please, please consider those facts. And we're going to take a look at the next thing here, which is the additional tip sheet. I want to give you all the tools before we hit go. So what's a primary source? Primary sources are original records of the political, economic, artistic, scientific, social, and intellectual thoughts and achievements of specific historical periods. Produced by the people who participated in and witnessed the past, primary sources offer a variety of points of view and perspectives of events, issues, people, and places. These records can be found anywhere. In a home, a government archive, etc. The most important thing to remember is that they were used or created by someone who experienced the event firsthand. So examples of primary source, guys, let's see what they are. Primary sources are not just documents and written records. There are many different kinds of primary sources, including first-person accounts, documents, physical artifacts, scientific data, and face-to-face meetings with someone who has specific knowledge or expertise. Primary sources also take a variety of formats. Here's some more examples. Audio, so listening to someone tell a story who was there. Images, photographs, videos, film, art. Objects, clothing, tools, pottery, gravestones, etc. Statistics, data, population, weather records, things like that. Text, letters, diaries, original documents, legal agreements, treaties, maps, laws, advertisements, recipes, etc. And these differ for several different reasons, which I will leave you to read on your own. Now we're going to go ahead and jump back to our lesson and make sure we hit that preview quiz now button to start our assignment for the day. So what we're reading today is we're reading an excerpt from something that Frederick Douglass said, and we know that Frederick Douglass is a very famous author and speaker from the pre-war era. So here's our context. As the Civil War was drawing to a close, former slave Frederick Douglass gave this speech at an abolitionist meeting. Please remember, guys, abolitionists are people who are against slavery, so they're wanting everyone to be free. Douglass was looking ahead to the best way to protect the rights of these newly freed slaves. As you read, please think about why Douglass argued that former slaves need the right to vote. I had but one idea for the last 3 years to present to the American people, and the phraseology, or choice of words, in which I clothe it is the old abolition anti-slavery phraseology, choice of words. I am for the immediate, unconditional, or unlimited, and universal enfranchisement, which means right to vote, of the black man in every state in the Union. Without this, his liberty is a mockery, which means his liberty is fake. Without this, you might as well not almost retain or keep the old name of slavery for his condition. For in fact, if he is not the slave of the individual master, he is the slave of society, and holds his liberty as a privilege or advantage, not as a right. He is at the mercy or will of the mob, and has no means for protecting himself. So with our first little paragraph here, here's the question we need to answer. Why does Douglass say that liberty is a mockery for former slaves if they do not have the right to vote? So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this example here. Look at the words, read it to yourself one more time. Remember, you can always hit pause on this video and figure out the answer. Don't forget to refer to the text, and please write in complete sentences or else you will not receive a good score on this assignment. So once you've got that question answered, construct it in the box here and hit the next button. We're going to move on in our reading here. We're still looking at the Frederick Douglass speech. So context to the reading. As the Civil War was drawing to a close, former slave Frederick Douglass gave this speech at an abolitionist meeting in Boston. Douglass was looking ahead to the best way to protect the rights of freed slaves. So as we read this, think about why Douglass is arguing that slaves need the right to vote. To reward your enemies and trample or stomp out in the dust your friends, do you intend to sacrifice the very men who have come to the rescue of your banner in the South and incurred or exposed to the lasting displeasure or long unhappiness of their masters thereby? Do you intend to sacrifice or offer them and reward your enemies? Do you mean to give your enemies the right to vote? Enemies are the people in the South, guys. Think about it. And take it away from your friends. Is that wise policy? Is that honorable? Could American honor withstand such a blow? I do not believe you will do it. I think you will see to it that we have the right to vote. There is something too mean in looking upon the Negro when you are in trouble as a citizen, and when you are free from trouble as an alien. Now, they're not talking about the guys from outer space. They are talking about an alien is someone who has come from another country and does not have citizenship. When this nation was in trouble in its early struggles, it looked upon the Negro as a citizen. In 1776 he was a citizen. At the time of the formation or creation of the Constitution, the Negro had the right to vote in 11 states out of the old 13. In your trouble you have made us citizens. In 1812, General Jackson addressed us as citizens, fellow citizens. He wanted us to fight. We were citizens then, and now, when you come to frame a conscription bill, the Negro is a citizen again. Conscription is a draft. I will provide the definition in here to help you. He has been a citizen just 3 times in the history of this government, and it has always been in the time of trouble. In the time of trouble, we are citizens. Shall we be citizens in war and aliens in peace? Would that be just? Our question here for our final answer is, at what times does Douglass argue that African Americans have been treated as citizens? So take a look at what I just read there and examine the time periods. Explain the position and provide examples from the text to support. So go ahead and write out your answer. It'll be worth 5 points. Use complete sentences, refer to that text, hit the next button when you're finished, and you'll be given the option to submit all and finish. Make sure you do that. Good luck on your assignment today. Please feel free to re-listen to this video as many times as you need. Trust me, it's a good skill to use. If you need me to, call me anytime today. Good luck!